And welcome everybody to Fat Guys on a Little Podcast. I'm your co-host Steve Markey, and always joined by
Charles here.
Now this week is extra special, Charles. Let me tell you,
we're working through Westland.
We got the Prince of Westland last week. We got the King of Westland this week. None other than owner of Menon the Move, Gary Bulson. Gary, how you doing?
I am wonderful.
Right. Welcome aboard, Gary.
Since what was it? 2014 was Randy?
Dude, he is this man that we're sitting with is destroying Randy.
What year were you Westland Businessman of the Year?
2003.
Ooh,
it's 11 years, son.
He got everybody.
So how many plaques did they give you? Randy got 5.
There was more back then. Yeah, there was.
you got like
state representatives. They had the governor. They had the mayor, the city council.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who was the
county
governor?
Commissioner?
So you got one from Jennifer Granholm, right? Is that who it was then, or was it someone different?
No, maybe.
It was a lasting impact, I guess.
Could have been Angler. Who knows?
Now that's just the tip of the iceberg, though. What are some of all the committees that you used to belong to and currently belong to over there in Westland, or any committee? Wait till you hear this list.
Well, yeah, we don't have enough time, but I just retired from the chamber board. I was 25 years on their board for the Westland Chamber. I was on a board member since '93 there.
So, when you say the chamber, are you making like business decision or like helping them aggregate business in Westland? What are you doing?
We promote local businesses. I mean, we're an organization that promotes the local business within the city of Westland, and there's people, businesses outside of Westland too that do business in the city.
So you're just trying to keep that going as far as within the city limits and getting all that great tax money coming into Westland and all that good jazz. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we're separate. We're not we're not really related to the city, but we do work with the city. We're a separate organization.
Cool.
And also the Westland JCs. I've been a member there since '97.
Now, when I hear JCs rather than JZs, I think of like haunted houses. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things that they were known for back in the day is haunted houses. But they do a lot of not only community service, but they do a lot of individual development, and they can teach people things, learn how to run your own business and different things like that. I joined the JCs for networking opportunities for my moving company back in the day.
And that's how you know Steve is through VR Metro and your moving company, correct?
Correct.
And you deal with Randy, and your name of your moving company is Men on the Move? That's the big
all the people you guys talked about last week, like Tom Nix and Dean and Ron. I mean, I was with all them guys. I knew all those guys.
OG Westland.
Yeah, so it was fun, and I've been involved in the Rotary as well. I was on the zoning board for the city of Westland. So
you keep all the strip clubs out of the city of Westland.
Start letting them in. What are you doing?
I'm telling you.
More like signed ordinances and different stuff like that we'd approve, but
wow. So, but I was talking to you a little bit before the pod. You don't live in Westland?
I do not.
Your business resides in Westland.
Not anymore.
Oh
either.
My God! Yeah. What is going on? Gary?
Yeah, we were in Westland from '91 when the business started till 2015. And
what drove you out of Westland?
I can't say that on the air.
Tax breaks.
The business opportunity came open for a building. We wanted to own our own building, and there was a nice building on Merriman Road that was for sale at the time.
Okay.
And so we got the exposure from people driving up and down Merriman Road. And the buildings in Westland at the time, we just couldn't find anything with the same exposure. So that's why we ended up going there. And being we service such a large area, we service, Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb County, we thought moving a little further north. We actually were looking like Farmington Hills area, but we ended up in the Livonia area. We're close, right just south of 96, so easy freeway access, which is good for us.
Yeah, so you can get around the communities and everything like that. So when you need like a bigger retail, or not a retail space, but like a bigger building, what do you, as a moving company, what are you guys storing in that? Like, what do you need the square? Is it, like you said, is it more of an exposure thing? As I drive by, I need a moving company. Oh, what's that about? Is that?
It's both. both. I mean, this gave us we're almost 9,000 square feet of warehouse space.
So it's a pretty big facility,
which is nice because we had built individual storage units inside of the building, 10 by 10, 10 by 15, and a couple 10 by 20 units. And what we do is we do some long-term storage, but mostly it's short-term storage. Like if people are having a house built and they need a couple months,
here and okay.
So we move them into our storage, and then we move them out when they're ready to go. And it's indoor storage, which is nice. In the wintertime, it doesn't get lower than 50 degrees in there.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's nice for people that like to have their stuff out of the elements as well. Huh. And it helps pay. The storage helps pay the mortgage on the building, which is. In previous buildings, we didn't have storage, so we didn't have that income coming in. So even though we bought the building, the majority of the building is paid for by our storage
stuff
customers.
Sitting in it. Yeah,
right.
That's cool. Wow. So you were leasing in Westland, and now you're trying to own in, were you in Livonia or Farmington? Livonia. Yep. So you're trying to, that's smart. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. It's a big place. I've been over there. It's real nice. I have to help him with his emails every once in a while.
He's not kidding. He's not technically saying no. He's not.
They had this thing. I didn't even know about it till this year. Steve's like, put in this password or a team viewer or something.
Yeah, it's like remote desktop.
And
okay,
like,
so
blew
you
his mind.
Go to meeting.
Yeah,
thing.
Next thing I know, my computer mouse is moving and stuff, and he's like taking stuff out, and I'm like, no, don't look in that folder.
It's possessed.
Don't look in that folder. Hold
on. So you grew up around Dean and all them, right? Is what you're saying? And you knew all those guys?
Well, no, I grew up in upstate New York.
Grandma Beans.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Grandma Brown.
Oh, you knew them afterwards.
Yeah, I grew up in upstate New York, and then in '85, my dad got transferred with Ford Motor Company, and that's how I ended up in Michigan here. And then, like I said, I was in the service for a couple years, and then when I got out of the service, I actually answered an ad for who was my partner, looking for somebody with moving experience, and I had some moving experience, so I was the first person he hired when he bought the Men on the Move. So.
Oh, wow. And you just worked your way up to owning it, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
It's tough work, man. It's tough work.
Yeah, well, as you see, I don't. I
He's
sit
pushing
behind his
paper.
desk. Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough work, man. When you were younger, that's rough, man.
Yeah.
Ain't no joke.
You guys have those straps to go over one and over the other guy, and you can move stuff real quick?
Hump straps.
Yeah. That amazes me how fast those guys move stuff with those straps.
Forearm forklifts and different stuff like that.
Where me and you were moving something, pivot.
I know why it's huge business for Gary, because moving sucks.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Oh my God.
Labor is just so hard nowadays. That's the problem. We have 7 trucks in our Livonia office, and this year the most I was able to run was like 5. So
so you're sitting 2 trucks just waiting on people to get in.
So if anybody's looking for a job this spring,
after I just said his hair hard. Sorry, Gary.
Maybe we need to get in shape, start moving.
I mean, it pays really well.
And there is a lot of people that like in the fitness craze or whatever. I mean, this is good for them because they can get out there and
get your cardio.
Exactly.
You save money on a gym membership. Come tilt some furniture.
Yeah, meanwhile, he's got you moving pianos up 4 flights of stairs.
What is the furthest out that you had to send your guys? What state the furthest out you had to send on a move?
Probably Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas. This last summer, we sent somebody out there.
And not whatever, but like, how does a family or whatever from Houston, like,
they move
Gary
from
and
here
Westland.
there, or
move from here to out there.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people, being transferred or whatnot, or getting new job opportunities or whatever. So it's nice. Some of the times. What's good about us is we don't lump you in with a bunch of other people. There's some people that like to be exclusive. So we come to your house, load up your items, and we just take your items and we go directly to the, Houston. I mean, obviously we might spend a night somewhere, but.
So hold on a second. So you're telling me some moving companies will move you and Steve's belongings in the same pull, like out to somewhere? Or
all
something?
your van lines do that. That's how all your van lines do it. Like they might pick up my family here in Michigan, and then they might go to Chicago and pick up Steve, and then they might go to St. Louis and drop Steve off, and then go to Texas and drop me off, and but the downside to that is we're going there loaded and we're coming back empty. So. I mean, it might be a little bit more on the expense from a van line in that extent, but it's more personalized. The guys that load your items here are going to be the guys that unload your items out of state. So a lot of people like that kind of service.
I know from the hotel, I know a lot of corporations, like Relo is a huge part of like moving these managers and stuff like that around. Like that's one of the biggest things they negotiate is making sure. And again, working in the hospitality industry, these people come from all over, and I'm sure you're well aware of that.
Right.
Like, they move these folks, but to your point, there's someone moving them and doing that thing. It's pretty cool. I mean, you folks come in, bag up their stuff and take it out, and it would be cool to have happen, but man, just moving sucks.
Yeah. And back to we're talking about Dean and Ron and all them. It was through the Chamber of Commerce how I met them, and the first building that we had on Ford Road that my partner had bought was right next door to VR Metro Malls. And so that's how the marriage came between us is, before moving companies ever got into websites and stuff, even though we were the little Menon the Move company, we were probably one of the first, even over the big van lines, to have a website. So that was kind of cool.
So in other words, as those people were starting to get online and starting to like Alta Vista search like movers, Gary's popping up.
Yeah,
going, hey,
yeah.
That's cool.
And
That's smart.
And we've done a good
Yeah.
job at obviously with Steve and Randy's help and some other people in their office keeping up to date, keeping everything going and all the algorithms and all that stuff that your brother does that I have no clue about. And
I don't know what he's doing.
I just keep, giving him the money and cool.
Yeah, that's great. Do you find now? Do you find that most of your like clientele come from the website nowadays? Is that pretty much where or is it mostly?
Wow, put me on the spot, brother.
Yeah, where does it come from, Gary?
Yeah. I mean, Steve doesn't know what he's talking about 90% of the time. Anyway.
We do, we run a report every 6 months at my office, and I mean, obviously the internet itself is like the top one for us, and second and third is used before or recommended by family or friends.
Yeah,
which I found that really amazing. That things like the yellow pages and stuff like that have just over the years they've just declined so much.
Yeah.
But that's why it's so important to make sure you take care of a customer. And what I always tell the customer is, it's not your $500 I want; it's the 5 friends you're going to recommend me to. I want their money, and that just shows that I'm going to do a good job for you. And like I said, because that is cheap advertisement, just to go out there and do a good job and treat people right. They're going to come back and they're going to recommend friends to you, and that's how you build a business.
Yeah. And then, like you had said, too, is getting that exposure on that busier street, too, is really smart, too. Yeah. Crazy.
You'd be amazed how much Yellow Pages still tries to charge people.
What do you mean? Like the phone book?
Yeah. Like $1,800.
I'll be honest, I don't even know where you can find a phone book.
They
transferred a lot of their stuff to a website.
Yeah,
but no one's. When was the last time you Google? I'm going to Google search "Man on the Move." Guarantee you, the phone book is not popping up.
No, but they charge people through the ass.
You know what?
It's weird.
It's tough because every time my phone book ads are up, I post something on Facebook and everybody laughs at me like, "Oh, you're still doing fake Yellow Page ads?"
I would be with them. Like,
you know what? But what they're doing is they're switching over to the digital media market. So they still have the hard copy Yellow Pages, but they're switching a lot of their stuff over to digital and trying to get in that whole thing. But I get a report every month of the phone calls that come in because my phone book ad.
How'd you find me?
Well, my phone book ad has a unique phone number that they give me.
That's smart.
And if I cancel my Yellow Pages, they shut down that number.
So if it rolls off the 212 number, that's coming from
So I mean, I'm still getting 50 to 60 calls a month for my Western Wayne County Yellow Page ad.
Wow.
So
I never would have guessed that. I'll be honest.
And it's tough to let it go. I mean, when you're getting that many calls, and if you're booking, 10 or 15% of those calls that are coming in out of the 50 or 60, and your average, job is $500 or $600. I mean,
but like you said, it's not even that first one. It's the one that it's that trickle down.
It's a snowball effect that that really helps out. So it's hard. Steve's like cancel the Yellow Pages and keep bringing me more of their money. What's their piece,
Get him out of your life, number one. Number one.
Well, that's why I moved
Randy's at home. Shut up.
That's why I moved out of Westland, because I was right by them guys. I had to get away
Couldn't
from
leave
them.
Right?
I stick around for Randy, not for Steve.
Yeah, exactly.
man.
I agree with that too.
He was trying to stick me with not telling me the sample of the food we were doing today. I listened to the podcast.
Yeah.
So there's a look at Men on the Move and all the different things in Westland. Now, what branch of military were you?
Army.
Army? Did you? What years? Did you have to go anywhere, or you pretty much stationed somewhere?
Fort Benning, Georgia.
Hot down there.
Pollen was the killer.
Oh,
Pollen was
allergy
really
guy,
bad.
yeah.
Yeah, and then when you get in trouble, all you got to do is dust off the stairwells all day long. That was me.
Give you a dust mop. That's Gary's service.
So now, as a veteran, do you on Veterans Day, are you the guy that goes out and gets all the free stuff at all the different places, or you just
Never.
Yeah,
They're allowed to do that, though, Steve.
I know.
Let's be honest. You're not going to break a veteran's balls.
Yeah.
No.
I'm not one of those people that
somewhere.
that are going to wait 15 minutes in line to save 2 cents a gallon on gas.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm not that guy.
Like, there's certain guys that were in the military and whatever, and if they get a discount, that's fine. But there are guys on Veterans Day. Dad's neighbor, I know he's not listening. He's like 100 years old. He hasn't been in the military forever, but he has a printout of all the restaurants to go to and win to get all his discounts on Veterans Day.
I'm just hard pressed
That's
to
a
break
little
a
much.
veteran's ball from someone
I'm
who
not
never
breaking
was
his
in the
balls.
military. Go get you a cheap thing of pancakes, man. I say go for it.
And the guy's 100. Come on.
I mean, I thank you for your service.
I'm just saying.
You-
That's a little much.
Between last week and this week, I think I'm going to take your place.
Yeah, I'm not here. It's tough, man. Being a veteran's tough. I'm just gonna say.
What are you going to say
now
about
that
the old people and the senior discounts?
I mean, Steve paid full price apparently.
You're going to lose your whole audience.
There's there's some people that just go out of their way to get their discounts. So much.
I'm still waiting for the over 300-pound discount when you walk into a
A lot
restaurant.
of people I know qualify.
They're going to charge us extra on that one. There is no discount for that. So after Menon on the Move, the other important thing that Gary's a very big part of, and we wanted to hear.
He's a busy man.
He's very busy. Very busy. I'm surprised we locked.
We are lucky to have him in
Yeah.
here.
How did you finish on your fantasy football team this year?
Well, there was more than one team, but
Multiple team
Oh,
guys.
You
yeah.
have to clarify that not well.
I'm obsessed, but I hate Mahomes. That's all I'm going to say.
He's got a laser rocket arm. What are
He
you talking
killed
about?
me.
You didn't take laser rocket.
killed
on?
me.
Who was your quarterback? Matt Stafford.
No, you know what?
He's rocking the Lions gear.
Actually, I'm not Stafford I had as a backup in most of my leagues, but a lot of my leagues I picked up Brady because the last few years he's done so well for me. This year, I just looked it up before I came here. He was like 12th or 13th in fantasy points in my league, which really surprised me. But Mahomes killed me because, like, in week 8 or 9, when he threw for 7 touchdowns, I played against that guy.
How many points did that guy score?
Well,
that
you know,
week?
and normally you sure 150, 160 points, you win in the league, okay? Yeah. I scored 212 and lost. He scored 227. Yeah, it was the second highest point total all year scored in the league was 212, and I lost that week. And then I faced the guy in the finals and lost to him again just to add insult to injury.
You gotta stay away from that fantasy thing.
So you're saying you're not a Chiefs fan, right?
Not only that, and then the first week I played against Connor from Pittsburgh, the running back. And he scored 43
he went off
points.
a few weeks.
First week he scored 43 points.
Then he fell apart.
I was projected to be like 14-1 in the season. I lost the first 4 games of the year. And it's a family league, you know. So my wife and my daughter and my brother-in-law, they're all killing me.
Making cracks.
Yeah.
So you finished second in the league, it sounds like?
Yeah, in that league, yeah.
Was it for money or for fun?
No, we just do it for fun. And
The family league, it's a little tough to shake down your kiddo.
there's another group of guys down in Georgia that were short a guy about 15 years ago. And I joined with them. They're all friends, and I've won that league 6 times in the last 15 years. So they hate me, but I love playing in that league. And again, it's for fun, but it's we rib each other all the time and have a great time.
That's the best part is ripping the friends.
Yeah. That's half of fantasy football.
Outside of fantasy football, do you play the other fantasy sports like fantasy baseball or hockey or anything?
Baseball, I do. I quit hockey a couple years ago. When I lost interest in the Wings. So
half of Michigan has.
Well, I don't. They had a few streaks here and there where they were looking like okay.
They made the playoffs to start winning again. Everyone will be back.
Baseball is tough just because you have to make changes every day.
Well, that was my question so I'm not a big fantasy guy. Steve knows I'm just not. But like,
Are we talking sports?
I think so. Big into Dungeons and Dragons. Whole other conversation here. How does like the baseball and stuff work? Because like football happens once a week, Thursdays, Sundays, and Mondays. So like okay, here's week 4. Baseball schedules are all over the place.
Well,
like,
there's 2 different ways. One, I would play Steve for a week straight. and whatever stats I get for that week
came in on that particular week in February or whatever, April or whatever would be your week against Steve.
Right, like if he scores 40 runs that week and my guys score 50 runs, I get the point for that category.
But can you guarantee that Steve's guys are going to have as many opportunities as your guys? No. That's half the game.
You have to follow it, and you have to know, like, if somebody's going to be sitting that. I mean, just like with fantasy football, I mean, if a guy is hurt or if a guy's sitting or if his backup is going to start for some reason. But, like,
the schedules are the schedules in baseball. Like, it's one thing if, like, someone got hurt and that's kind of unforeseen, but, like, baseball, you can't say the Twins only had 3 games this week. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little tough to forecast and manipulate.
You could put your schedule in there. What I like to do more so is a commutative total for the year. Like, you just
cumulative.
You don't play head to head. You just keep track of all your runs, your RBIs, your strikeouts, your home runs for the whole year, and it just keeps adding up. And there's like 10 categories, and you get a 1 to 10 in each category.
Okay.
So, like, if your team is,
are those categories like weighted? Like your runs are higher than your?
No, they're all the same. It's all 1 to 10, and you're playing with 9 other people in the league, and wherever you rank, it's like home runs, RBIs, stolen bases. Pitchers, are wins, saves, strikeouts.
So that makes a little more sense to me than like even the week thing.
Yeah, I don't like the head-to-head myself.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. Crazy.
Is it what is it through? ESPN usually play or Yahoo or CBS?
All the above. ESPN and Yahoo. I used to do Fox Sports too, but I do ESPN and Yahoo because you're only allowed so many teams on each one.
He's got 12 fantasy teams.
He's got quite a few.
What the hell's going on?
I do. I think I had 11 football teams.
Jesus.
Drafting is half the fun. I mean, drafting the team is a blast.
Wow.
Yeah, but then you can't watch football during the year because you got players everywhere.
Dude, I know.
It is tough because like you might be playing Drew Brees in one league, but in your other league he's your starting quarterback. So.
11 teams.
We'll play next year. That's part of my challenge with you guys. We'll get on a league together.
Great.
All right.
13 leagues for
have you done FanDuel?
Yeah, I've done FanDuel.
That FanDuel is the one I do from time to time. I kind of like that, where you just pick a team for that week and then go for it. You win $2 or $3, make you feel good. Then you blow it the next week.
BB's at home right now, just screaming.
We got a friend Bill. He's a diehard. So there you go. A little look at fantasy football for everybody. Now Charles this weekend decided he's going to be Molly the baker.
Yeah,
and he made us a special treat that I'm not sure I want to eat.
So I was determined.
Full disclosure: did you try any of these cookies ahead of time?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
Specifically, did not. Just so we could all try them together because it's going to be disgusting. So we talked about it last week as Gary's well first, and I bought cricket flour off of Amazon. So that we could bake those into some cookies.
Flour.
So I found
why anybody would want to buy this, but that wasn't a gag.
How much was it?
It was like $11 or something like that
for this pouch.
Correct.
$11.
Yeah.
Crickets are rather expensive.
So, well, I mean, how many crickets is in that pouch is the real question.
I don't know.
So basically, I went online and I found a recipe for chocolate chip cookies where they utilize the Gary looks way stoked about this.
It's going to be terrible. You brought something to drink, right, Gary? Because you might have to wash this down.
So we're going to try these. They call these Choco Chirpies.
If I see a leg sticking out of one of these things.
They didn't turn out as beautiful as I wanted them to, but Gary being our guest, grab one of those. Feel free. I put a piece of bread in there so they stayed a little soft for us today.
Can I just eat the bread?
No, you will not. Get yourself a whole cookie.
I was hoping with the new marijuana laws, we would have had brownies or something like that.
Get some edibles.
Get you a Choco Chirpy.
Yeah, Gary's like, why couldn't it be on the episode when they were drinking liquor? Here, take this pouch.
They look atrocious. I don't know. They spread out like crazy.
So how much? I mean, how much?
There's a half a cup of cricket flour.
He's really
not even a half a cup in that pouch. Would you buy like 8 pouches?
No.
That's like the 27-pound thing of mac and cheese at Costco.
Deceptive.
I will say it just tastes like a cookie.
It doesn't taste like anything?
Next time, can you put some M&Ms in them?
Yeah, I mean, there's a little flair or something,
I'll be honest with you. I don't think I would know that there's crickets in these unless you told me.
I don't understand the point.
I think it's weird how health nuts sneak protein into things.
Yeah, it's 40 calories in this stuff.
Yeah. So it tastes like a bad chocolate chip cookie to me. I don't know. It doesn't taste like anything.
There's no like. I thought there'd be like an earthy
because if you smell the pouch has got a weird. Did you whiff the pouch? Me and Gary are.
Yeah, I whiffed the pouch.
Can you have your wife bring us in some milk, maybe?
Yeah, if you want some.
No.
But
some vanilla ice cream.
It tastes like a chocolate chip cookie to me. I don't know. You guys feel like it just...
Well, apparently he likes it. He's not stopping eating it.
You'll learn from this podcast, Gary. We never stop and eat it. We just go
I just...
Hold on.
No, Gary's thirsty.
I just feel that it was kind of pointless. Not you, us, we did it as a gag, but why anyone would just buy that over regular flour when there's no difference in taste?
Yeah.
Because there's probably 500 million people like us that want to try what it's like.
Well, so, and I'm going to talk about it later on in the CES coverage, the Impossible Burger. I think the big push in this country with eco stuff and all that is looking for alternate forms of protein. Because the big thing is if you look into, like, farms and stuff are really a big scourge on the environment. So a lot of these hippies and stuff like that are looking into like plant-based proteins and the tofus. They're also looking at like crickets.
Farms are a scourge on the environment
They're
now?
huge. Oh, they're
They've only been around since the dawn of humans.
And they're also one of the... There's a whole ag gag thing where they don't want you to look up... Agriculture gagging. They don't want you to know the reality of what they do because it would be such a detriment to the industry.
We already know they slaughter cows and pigs.
No,
did
but
you guys try
the runoff and
Did you
stuff
try
like
the thing from White
Impossible
Castle?
Burger, yes.
Okay.
And then we're going to talk about that later. They're releasing the 2nd or 2.0 version of that.
I have to admit, those weren't that bad.
I made
This
my
isn't that
Valentine's Day reservation for there last night.
Oh, yeah? You're going to White Castle for Valentine's?
This will be our third year going there. So
Try the
I
Impossible
splurged.
Burger.
It's on a Thursday. I made my reservations at 5:15, and Livonia will be there.
Nice.
What did they do? Do they like set it up and make it look nice?
They put tablecloths on the table with roses. And that you walk in, you have to give them your reservation. They seat you at your table. They come out with a waiter, and they take your order at the table and deliver tableside.
What I'm doing next Valentine's.
Oh, it's fancy, man. I'm telling you, it's top notch.
These are disappointingly normal.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with
I was
you.
hoping for like some kind of weird flavoring of some sorts.
I would continue to eat these. It's just it's like a bad homemade chocolate chip cookie. I don't know what's
pretty much
going
all
on.
it was. That was disappointing. I was waiting for all three of us to bite into it and then go.
Instead, it's like, it's a bad homemade cookie.
Yeah,
You know,
that's a little disappointing. A little disappointing. We've had some gross stuff on the podcast. We do have some scotch for you, Gary, if you want to try some
Yeah,
scotch.
we got some Lagavulin if you're so
So I
inclined.
could drive back to Farmington Hills. Tell everybody where we're at so they can follow me.
It tastes like burnt wood, that scotch does.
It's funny because the name that you just mentioned, Laga, whatever.
Yeah.
My daughter's boyfriend wanted that for Christmas, and it was just too expensive for me to buy.
Is he a big Parks and Rec fan? or
No,
something?
but he's a big Scotch fan.
Oh, he's a douche.
Oh, man.
That's what you're trying to, I'm sorry if he's listening. We appreciate your listenership.
So my friend told me to get a bottle of Highland Park, which is right around the $50 price range, and he says that surprisingly a lot of people like that better than the high-end scotches. So I got
They're
it.
so bad. It tastes like you're chewing or like drinking charcoal water. It's so weird.
Yeah,
burning.
because it's stored in those barrels, so it's like you're eating a campfire. It's kind of
So,
gross.
going around the room, what do you think about cricket powder?
I think it's a waste of money. I don't think there's any point to it because everything tastes the same.
It jacks up the protein, so you could get
I guess if I wanted protein cookies.
If you're Wigs and you really want to load up on the protein,
I would
guess.
probably never buy it personally.
Yeah, I don't get it. Gary, what do you think? It didn't.
I thought the cookie tasted normal. I didn't mind, but again, if you got the amount of money that you paid for that, it costs like $15 for a dozen cookies.
exactly.
How much is a bag of flour now? Like 99 cents?
If that.
Yeah, and you paid like $8 for that?
No, $11.99.
$11.99. Jeez. What a
I don't know. It didn't change the taste of it, so if you want to sneak protein in,
Yeah,
I guess.
I'm going to do that at my next party. I'm going to buy a bag of it just to make cookies for everybody and not tell them to laugh.
And then at the end of the night, be like, those are all full of crickets.
Like
all
said,
the vegans in the house would have a heart attack.
if you're looking at the powder, there's no legs, there's
you
no
think
nothing in it.
vegetarians use that to get protein, or you think?
I would assume a vegetarian would say that's. Can you a vegetarian eat a bug? I don't know.
I don't
what
know.
the
I don't
rules
know how
are.
that- I don't know
Gary,
the
you're a
rules.
vegetarian. Can you eat a bug?
No, I don't know.
I don't
It
think so.
reminds me of a story, though. You talk about it real quick. Years ago, my secretary had made chili. We used to have chili or soups and stuff for the guys when they came back in the wintertime on the moving truck.
Oh, man. If you need a job, Men on the Move. It's got 2 trucks sitting and they're going to feed you chili. I'm telling you.
She made chili with venison.
Oh,
and I'm that type of guy, like, if people want venison or whatever, it doesn't bother me that people hunt and different stuff like that. But for some reason, psychological
freaks you out a little bit.
So I thought, she goes, what do you think of the chili? I'm like, oh my God, that chili was so good or whatever. I go to grab a second bowl and she told me it was venison. Spent the rest of the afternoon in the bathroom. So it's just the same thing probably with the cricket thing. And, if you didn't know it was cricket, you would just think that, it was good. Regular cookie.
Yeah. Venison is good when it's mixed into like a chili or something like that. But just to eat like a venison steak, it's like eating your desk.
I think it's pretty good.
Huh?
I do. I like venison. I think it's pretty good.
I'm not a fan. I like it mixed, like in a chili would be fine, or when they do it into the sausage. Or
it's just too lean for you, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just gross. Not fatty enough.
I need something that's marbled a little bit more fat,
It's Wagyu beef.
some pork or some, low-end lean hamburger.
Yeah. I don't know. My grandfather's a big hunter, or our uncle's a big hunter. They all eat it. Like I said, I like it when it's like in the jerky or if it's mixed into something. I don't know where he went. So
I was thinking of you guys the other day because my daughter had bought a package for her boyfriend for Christmas that had all kinds of different, like crocodile jerky and stuff like that. And I was thinking of you guys. I'm like, oh, you guys need a box of that stuff to try.
Crocodile jerky.
You did the venison jerky the one week on here. Gary freaked out on it.
Yeah, that was... Yeah. So there you go, cricket flour, kind of a waste of money.
A big time waste of money. Say we ate some crickets.
So this week we're going to do some reviews of some movies, and don't worry if you didn't see them, Gary. It's not a big deal.
I'll make something up. I've been doing good so far.
I ended up with a women's women power week of movies. I don't know how that happened. Yeah, I ended up watching 3 movies, all based on women as the main characters.
And one based on a predator.
Yeah. What? A predator?
Surviving R. Kelly?
Oh, yeah. That's different from that. The 3 women ones was Molly's Games, Ocean's 8, and Peppermint. Now, out of the 3, which one do you think I like the best?
Well, I know the Molly's Game. So that's the one where she's the skier, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that looked okay.
You liked Peppermint. Me and my wife watched Peppermint.
That's the one I like the best.
Yeah.
Peppermint's Jennifer Garner coming back to action.
Oh, okay.
It's an action. The storyline is pretty much the Punisher.
Okay.
Her family gets wiped out.
Jennifer Garner is the Punisher?
It's a female Punisher. It's mixed with a little bit of John Wick.
I'm interested, I'll be
honest.
honest.
The fight scenes were like John Wick. The storyline's like the Punisher. It's kind of lower budget, but it's a really good movie.
Is it?
Did you saw it too, Gary?
Yep, we did.
Yeah, that's a good movie. I was quite shocked how entertaining that was. Because you forget... she's doing Capital One commercials and religious movies now, and that's all she does.
Well, because her big push was like Alias back in the day, right?
She did, they really pulled off the action in this movie. It was very good. The whole movie was, actually. A little low budget, but very good.
And the premise of it is her family was whacked, and now she has to
by
get
a drug dealer's gang.
Okay.
And she leaves for 5 years, trains, and comes back.
Oh, so she was a regular citizen of the world.
Yeah. She was just like a mom.
So she had to go learn. Who does she learn from? The Shaolin monks? Or who are we learning from?
They never say that.
I think it was Mr. Miyagi.
What's going on?
Rambo and Mr. Miyagi and Yoda trained her.
What the heck?
She worked at a bank, so she stole $55,000 from the bank and just left, disappeared off the grid. And went and trained in Europe and all these other places.
And then came back a straight-up stone-cold killer.
Yeah, and the reason the name of the movie is Peppermint, because it was the flavor of the Girl Scout cookies they were selling, and that's how they named the movie. Because I asked my wife afterwards, like, where the hell did Peppermint come in? Because her name is something else in the movie. I forgot what it was.
Is anyone else in it besides Jennifer Garner? Is that pretty much it?
That's pretty much it.
That's it.
No one I could recognize.
No.
How'd you guys watch it? Is it a Blu-ray release?
Yeah,
or
I saw it on Blu-ray.
Would you check
it out? We did
stream.
Yeah, I think we streamed it.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's well worth it if you get a chance. Watch that one. That was very entertaining. Actually, all 3 of them were pretty good. Molly's Game, like you said, she was trying out for the Olympics as a downhill skier.
Yeah.
Her father is Kevin Costner. He's a sociologist, therapist, whatever. She breaks her leg or something, so she can't compete in the Olympics. So she decides to move to L.A. because she lived in Colorado. And instead of going into college, she just starts running high-end poker games.
Oh, I seen that one too.
See, look at these right on top of everything.
Now that you say it, I see
I had nothing to contribute before I started. I seen more than me.
I did see that one. I remember that one. Now I liked that one too.
Yeah,
that was really
another
good.
Another
it was
good
entertaining.
One. She raised She was up worth like.
Who is she? Who plays she? Do you know?
Molly something, and it's a real story. It's her real name.
She actually worked for somebody else during the poker games.
Yeah,
she
yeah.
ended up breaking away and started her own room. I mean, real high end.
So like a
people.
low, like without anyone knowing about it, like a
Yeah,
low
but
key deal.
In real life, Molly Hood, I think her name was in the movie. In real life celebrities played in these games, and I'm pretty sure Ben Affleck's one of them.
Yeah, it was a really good movie. She was like bartending and serving and stuff
Yep.
like that at the high end poker games, and then she had a falling out with the guy that was running the room or whatever, and she decided she had the contacts for the people, so she broke off and made her own room that was more high end, and
So she pulled those people to her room.
right,
Wow.
yeah,
Sounds good.
yeah.
Yeah. The only knock on the movie I have is a little bit too much time jumping. Like, it would be like, she's a kid, here she is doing the poker, here she is when she's arrested. It would jump around a lot. But other than that, it was a good movie. Yeah, Kevin Costner played her dad. She had daddy issues throughout most of the movie. It was nice because it was about a woman, who did these things, and there was no love story in it. No, like, she didn't sleep
Just
with
a
anybody.
chick getting over, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it was, and that's what was kind of refreshing sometimes because it feels like every time you watch a female-based movie, there's got to be some kind of relationship. I mean, it does boil down to her issues with her father, I guess. But, anyways, it's a good movie based on a true story, based on a book that's out. I guess you can get
Blu-ray for you as well.
Yes, I sub
You
Blu-ray.
stream that. You Blu-ray that. Yeah.
Yep, streamed it.
Now the next one, it's actually on cable now. This is Ocean's 8 with Sandra Bullock.
And a bunch of people like Rihanna and
Yeah, yeah.
Kardashian or something.
Well, Kardashian's only in it for a cameo.
Oh.
The girl, who's the Indian girl off of The Office?
Mindy Kaling?
Yeah, she's in it. Rihanna's in it. Kate Beckinsale, or not Kate Beckinsale, Kate Blanchett. I always get those two confused. And the girl that was Catwoman in the last Batman movie, what was her name? Anne Hathaway.
Oh, okay.
She's in it too. Did you like Ocean? Did either of you guys like Ocean 11?
I never watched the guy ones, let alone
No?
the woman
Yeah.
one. So
Those look like they're way more fun to film than they are to watch.
Well,
Typical-
same.
okay.
I mean, it's the same movie, just with chicks.
Oh, okay. Are they
Instead of-
knocking over a casino? What are they knocking
Well,
over?
they're knocking over an art gala instead of a casino. It's the same exact movie. I mean, it's kind of nice. Not the greatest or most unique movie to see,
Yeah.
but so there was my women's empowerment week.
I wanted to see. There's one. Isn't there one called Women or something, where their husbands die or something, and they?
Yeah, I think that's coming to the theaters.
Yeah, that looks.
They become like
to me.
their husbands are dirtbags, I guess, and they kind of take over the women, their wives. They all either get busted or die. The women take over and do some kind of bank robbery or something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, yep.
I think that's coming out next month at theater. Yeah. So there you go. That one. Now the other thing I saw, I more listened to it because it's like 6 episodes. Surviving R. Kelly. Have you guys heard about this one?
I actually have. So this is a Lifetime thing, if I'm not
A&E.
mistaken. As A&E, okay.
A&E had it.
And I know that it's crazy. Like people are all about it.
So you guys are all familiar with R. Kelly, that he likes young kids.
Young chicks, and he's also urinating on chicks, correct? Is he peeing on chicks in this
Well,
movie?
he was urinating on the same young
But
chick.
then he's got like a weird thing where like he's also like oddly cultish with these young chicks as well, correct?
The series was 6 episodes. It was way too long.
Okay.
Hour
How
each.
long? Hour each, so 6
Could have been
hours?
2 hours, got everything in, and would have been fine.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess he married that Aaliyah girl back in the 90s.
When she was underage.
She was 15. He was 25.
He just shake his head.
I'm watching a football game. I don't want no part of this conversation at all.
And he got away with that, but she died in a plane crash. So then he married another woman. And while he's married to her, he has like a big studio in Chicago. It's a huge compound. Almost as big as Gary's warehouse.
Okay.
But he has
Let's not compare it to Gary's stuff right now. Please.
He has a recording studio and a bed. Like there's like 10 recording studios. Each studio has a bedroom in it. And then he
Attached to the recording studio.
Yes. And everyone that went and saw it thought it was very weird. And he would have different underage girls in each room. And then he would tape all of them while he's with them. That's why he got busted. It's like, it's such a dumbass. But anyways, and now...
Was it compelling? It seemed like it was going to be like super interesting.
It is
and, like,
for a while. It starts to get a little long after a while. First couple
I
episodes.
suppose it is if you're like Steve and you're into that.
It's well, don't tell anybody. but now currently he has some cult where he's got
I've
like
heard
6
that.
girls living in that same studio again, and they're not allowed to come out, and they can't talk to their parents, and And Chicago PD is about to arrest him in real life because of this documentary and all the things he's done. So it's very interesting, but it is a little long.
Doesn't he have to sign off on that? Who would sign off on a show like that?
Oh,
Yeah, that's
no.
true,
Well,
too.
before every episode, there's a big disclaimer. R. Kelly disputes the claims in this, blah, 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 blah. He's pressing charges.
Is it just people talking of what they saw, or is it, to Gary's
Some
point,
of
is it
them,
footage?
some of them are the actual girls that were in the compound.
Wow.
That he's been with.
It sounds pretty interesting. I
It
know
is.
Gary's out, but I'm in. I think I'm in.
It makes your skin crawl, especially I have a 14-year-old daughter.
Because
I
he's
just
at
wanna punch
some
this
he's
guy
what
the
in his
face.
50s at this point.
Yeah, he's in his 50s, still pulling in 17 and 18-year-old girls into his little thing.
That's crazy.
The thing is, he got off in 2006 or 7 from the charge. Now, the first charge with the female was 14. The only reason he got off is because the parents and the kid wouldn't admit that it's them in the video. He paid them off. So they wouldn't admit it, and they couldn't hold the charges against them.
Jeez.
That's the only reason he's free.
I heard John Legend's in it, like talking about him being a pedophile and stuff like that. Yeah.
There's a lot of R&B and studio executives that show up and everything. It's pretty crazy. It's interesting, a little long, but if you can make it through it, it is interesting that this real life's comeback is out there.
I'd rather watch the Seven Little Johnstons.
What is the Seven Little Johnston?
Is that the TLC show?
Yeah.
With the,
That's me, TLC.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, so then you're going to love my next
I'm
segment
serious.
because you'll know all too well.
Now, I real quick, I watched the movie called Aftermath that I thought was really good. It's a movie that wasn't really out there. I was just streaming through different movies, trailers to look at, and it was with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it was about how two people were connected after a plane crash. His wife perished, and had the air traffic controller was the other star in the movie.
Okay.
And how their lives changed after the plane crash, and it was
So-
called Aftermath, and that was really good.
So these are two people who are survivors of a plane crash, is what you're saying?
Well, the one was the air traffic controller,
Okay.
and the other one was going to Arnold Schwarzenegger. His wife and daughter were flying over from overseas to come home, and they died in the plane crash.
So they just show how they deal with it. Like, what's the premise?
Yeah,
of the
and I don't want to
movie?
give it away, but yeah, they show how he deals with it, and how both of them deal with it, the pressures of it, losing it, losing your wife and daughter, losing your family, and the other one how he felt responsible for the plane crash itself and the different things that they go through or whatever, and ultimately in the movie they end up meeting face to face at one point.
Sounds really uplifting. I'll be honest with you.
It sounds like a drama, right?
Yeah, it sounds very serious.
It's a lot better than surviving R. Kelly or whatever.
Yeah. So does Arnold hold it? That sounds like a pretty actor-driven movie. Arnold holds it down
Yeah,
pretty
it
good.
was
in
it was
Yeah.
really good. I think it was 2017 was I think the release date. So
Check that out.
But again, I wanted to check out something that was a little bit different that I could give my opinion on here, and I thought it was really good, worth watching.
And Dad saw The Mule with Clint Eastwood. And he said that's not an uplifting movie.
Oh, jeez.
And so if you go with that one, don't be.
Who doesn't love Clint Eastwood? Though,
Yeah, he said
right?
it's a good
getting
movie,
long in
but
the
it,
tooth,
like
man.
Aftermath, it's not. You're not going to see no comedy, and he said it
Yeah,
was very,
jeez.
very. So now Charles is a huge cable TV guy. What are your
so
winter premieres? You're
just
saying?
a handful of shows that came back, and if you're a TLC guy, so Dr. Pimple Popper season 2 came back.
I watched that show. That guy with that nose.
It is so rough, man. You
you
talk
watch
about, yeah, rough to watch. The chick with the lumps in her arms. And stuff. I'm like,
I hate
oh
the
my
big
gosh.
one.
68 or something lymphomas they
Yeah,
took out
just
of her
pulling-
arms.
it looks like chicken breast. It's so
Yeah,
weird.
that's what. Why does it always look like chicken when
I
they're
don't
pulling it
know,
out?
man. I
It's
don't
like,
know.
ooh.
And then my 600-pound life came back. That's another compelling
I
show.
love that little doctor guy.
Yeah, Dr. Nowzardan is amazing.
Yeah, he's always yelling at him.
Yeah. Also, America's Got Talent premiered. We've got another season of that coming back.
I like that.
Yeah, I enjoy that. Again, thank you, Gary. Geez, Steve.
Yeah, it started out as that show and American Idol years ago started out as something that me and my daughter watched together.
Yeah, see, that's what we do.
That's
Yeah,
how it
watch my
started,
kiddo.
and my daughter's 26 now, and she doesn't live at home anymore. But I still watch the show. So.
And if you know of a lot of that, the champion stuff's great because they brought back a lot of those former contestants, and they're also bringing back some of the other ones from like Russia's Got Talent. One of the guys
Britain's
was
Got Talent,
Yeah,
yeah.
so it's kind of neat. I'm definitely in this season. They brought Susan Boyle back. I was like, that's kind of cool. And then one off the beaten path that I watch a little bit is the $1 Million Listings came back, $1 Million Listing Los Angeles, and I've talked about it before on the podcast. It's amazing to hear these people talk about like $200,000 where like most people's houses cost. They just like throw $200,000 away. They're just like, oh, we're gonna negotiate them down $150,000. Like that's my whole house. Like,
Right.
It's pretty compelling stuff. So I just wanted to bring it up that there's a handful of premieres that kind of happened after the first of the year that I'm really into.
I really like 600 Pound Life.
Oh, it's great.
I love. They always have. No matter how huge they are, they always have like a boyfriend or girlfriend.
Takes care of them too.
Takes care of them, brings them that pizza,
And that's what Dr. Now calls him out. That enabler, man. He goes like, "Why? Who brings it?
Yeah.
Well, I don't want him to get mad. Who cares? Let him get mad."
Who brings the cricket chocolate chip cookies to you?
Exactly. Yeah. So
Now on Netflix, there was a thing called Black Mirror. I saw this too, the Bandersnatch.
Yeah. So Black Mirror has been out. So Black Mirror is a Netflix original series. I could be wrong. It might be a BBC show too. It's kind of like Twilight Zone-y. I don't. If you've ever watched, there's 2 seasons of. It's way over the top, man. Oh my God! Have you watched any of the Black Mirror stuff?
I've heard about it.
Hoo-fa, man. Oof. It's over the top. So then Black Mirror came out, and they actually did this Black Mirror Bandersnatch is the name of this particular. It's an hour and a half long, but what's cool about it, it's a choose your own adventure thing. So, like, as you're watching this movie, you interact with it. So, like, you make the choices, like, that the character
Like
takes
those old
throughout
books when we were kids.
Yeah, exactly. And they reference it a lot. And I hope, it's my hope anyway, that they bring out more content about that. That was super. I thought that was super cool, super original. The only issue with it is it doesn't work. So I have Apple TVs throughout my whole house. That's how I watch most of my cable and everything. It didn't work on the Netflix app for the Apple TV. I had to go onto the web and use Netflix actual web program to get it to be able to do the interactions and all that stuff. So, but I just thought it was really neat the way they do it. The story's a little convoluted. They definitely reference the fact that you're doing a choose your own adventure movie thing, but I highly recommend it just for the technology of it.
It takes 7 to 8 hours to get all the endings.
But what's neat about it, so what it also does smartly, as you go through and do it, it'll take you back at the end if you want to go back to some of the pivotal choices that you made, and it will allow you to change the ending. You know what I mean? So Netflix is doing it really smart, and I highly recommend it just for the tech of it anyway. So the story's a little kooky.
Don't get used to it.
I want to see.
You don't think
I heard it was going to take off. I heard that more bigger productions were going to come out like that.
I think it's cool. I really do. What's wrong?
The company that used to make the old flip books that's based
There's
on.
one company that made the flip books?
Yeah, they're suing them.
So hold on.
They're suing Netflix currently because of the concept.
So the Choose Your Own Adventure books that existed in the 80s were made by one company?
It's only the major company that's suing them. Yeah,
Wow.
I forgot the name of it, but they are suing them.
Oh, wow.
So we'll see if that actually
I
lasts.
don't know, man. I thought it was super cool. Anytime that you get to like pick your pathway through a movie or a series, like imagine The Walking Dead, if you would, where you could actually make choices.
Oh yeah, then you
that would be amazing. You know what I mean? Like the possibilities to me are super cool, but apparently it's gonna be short lived.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get sued. Now, last Sunday, we're not going to cover too much on this, but the Golden Globes were on. Did anybody watch them besides me?
I actually did. I watched a handful of the beginning part of it.
You watch award shows at all, Gary?
Used to till they all got politicized, and then I don't watch any
That's
of
what
them.
Steve's going to talk about.
That's exactly what happened.
I just won't. I haven't watched them probably for 4 or 5 years because of that. I used to be adamant about watching them all the time.
Yeah, no, you were smart. Because Golden Globes was hosted by Andy Samberg and
Sandra Oh.
Sandra Oh,
Is
yeah.
that her name? Yeah.
I like Andy Samberg here and there. Didn't think he was funny on this.
It's they had, and I want to talk about like the Kevin Hart stuff where he can't host the Oscars because of something he did 15 years ago or whatever it is. It's a tough thing. So if you go too far, you wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I'm sure it's just saccharine and kind of lame. They have to be that way.
The weirdest thing I thought at the end of the night was Bohemian Rhapsody, which I like that movie. Did anyone else see that?
You talked about it. You saw it?
Yeah.
Well, you said you had an autographed Queen. Yeah, you definitely into that.
I love that movie. That movie was awesome.
I agree with him totally. It was a great movie. It won Best Movie. But
Drama, correct?
Yeah, but everyone's
there's
pissed.
2 categories of the Golden
Everyone's
Globes.
pissed off that one because
Why?
Bryan Singer was the director, and we all know he got arrested for pedophile charges. So they were upset about that. But the one thing, the political thing that Gary, you wouldn't like, every female actress got up there. and they're all
Talked about
depressed.
female power.
Yeah. Now, mind you, every female in this room probably has a bigger bank account than the three of us combined.
Yeah.
But they're all oppressed. None of them have jobs. Oh man, it went on and on. Every one of them get on. Not a huge
I just
fan
think
of that.
for me,
Even
I
Michelle
think,
rolled her eyes on half of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's like God.
like Gary's saying, like the format is just so bad now. I literally just want to know who. Like, I don't need any pageantry with it. I just tell me who you guys think and let's keep it move. Like, just rattle them off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like, let them come up, talk a little bit, and then peace out.
There's a new movie with that with Viggo Mortensen and
the
black
Green
guy.
Book.
Yeah, something
Is that what
about
it's called?
a singer. in the
Mahershala
It
Ali.
won an award for something, and his director went on there and got on about race relations, and just went
Because
on.
Viggo
and
got
on.
busted. Viggo dropped an N-bomb at one of the pressers for that.
That's not a shocker.
Yeah.
And, well, the director, after doing this giant speech, he got busted for sexual harassment a week later.
Oh, jeez.
So you're gonna sit there and speech. You know, that's one thing I've always hated about those.
Well, there was a lot of people that thought same subject but a little different is like the Star is Born should have won. But there's a lot of people, you know, after the fourth remake,
Yeah,
should
it's
that
true.
really be
Yeah.
should that really
Good
be up
point.
for Best Picture, you know?
At least that's a good conversation to come out of an award show. Like who you thought, Gary,
right.
who I thought.
I
That's
agree.
a good conversation. What's a bad conversation is like, you know, like you said, the political stuff, and you know, it's
There's
just,
only one jab.
If
at
you
the
want to
political
discuss
stuff. That was
like the
Christian
art
Bale.
of like, if you want to discuss like the art of like what you thought was a
Right.
great movie, that's a conversation.
I agree.
But the politics stuff, it's so.
And it used to be just
grainy.
like maybe one person in the awards, you know, 10 years ago, it used to be one person would get up there and say something political. Now every single person has to say something political.
Like they feel obligated to have to say it.
You know what's funny? Like movies are supposed to be like escapism. Like they
Right.
always say that. Like you're supposed to like have. So now here's the biggest stages that they can put these things on, and the whole time you're just drugged down by like politics. You're like, I enjoy motion pictures. You know what I mean? Like
and I feel that way whether they're on the same side of politics as me or the opposite
Anyway,
side. It
yeah.
doesn't matter. Even if they're tooting my horn, what I want to hear, what I believe, I
just
still
wanna
don't want
watch
to
a
hear
movie.
it.
Yeah, I
I
totally
agree with
Gary.
him,
Yeah,
totally.
it's rough, man.
So,
And
otherwise-
I think it's just the format of it. I really do. I think because like
Well,
the best
and
way
it's
to watch
3.5
any of those
hours every
things
time you watch the damn thing.
is at the end to just go on Yahoo or something and pull up the list of who won. So and then like you said, Gary can say, "I like Bohemian Rhapsody." I can say, "A Star Is Born." That's a conversation,
Right.
you know.
No, we got to talk about oppressed women and and then you know, of course, Trump wherever you can. All right, so there you go. Look at some award shows. Don't watch them; they're terrible, full of politics. Now the next section is rapid fire, Gary. This is pretty easy. We're gonna give you new movies, Blu-rays, and streaming. You could say yes, I want to see it. No, I don't want to see it. Or what the hell is that? Yeah. So new this week, The Upside with Kevin Hart and Bryan Cranston. It's where Bryan Cranston's paralyzed.
Yeah.
I would want to see that. Gary, would you like to see that?
Just about any movie I would go see. Honestly, I mean, I find movies relaxing, so I like going to the movies and
escapism,
watching them. So, yeah.
So he's gonna be yes on all the movies.
And I'm a big yes. I think it looks fantastic. I think Bryan Cranston. I think the premise of it looks really good. I'm a yes for sure.
This is when isn't he the caretaker?
He's the caretaker.
Hart's the caretaker.
Yeah,
or
and he's
something?
like some
Yeah.
guy who was just going through the system of like unemployment, and then like he just stumbles into this job, just trying to fill out like his time of like, hey, I wanted an interview, and he actually connects with Bryan Cranston.
Yeah,
It looks
it's
great.
intriguing. Some of those shows like that though, it's like you get all the best parts in the trailer, and then you go to the movie and you're disappointed.
Well, the next one, it looks like very Disney-ish, but it isn't. It's called The Dog's Way Home. About a guy who grew up with a dog. Dog ends up lost. Looks like in Washington somewhere, and finds its all the way back home. Looks like a tearjerker dog adventure. No, I'll watch it at home. I'm not watching it at the theater. Gary, you see?
Steve doesn't want to cry in public.
Yeah, I don't want to cry in public.
I cry both places. No, I definitely think there's a certain amount of movies that you go see at the movie theater, and there's certain movies that you can wait to come on home, whether you want to see them or not.
Yeah. So you'd hold off and rent that, is what you're saying?
Probably, yeah. I mean, unless it's like a Jurassic Park or a Bohemian
release.
Rhapsody or something like that, I'll make sure I see it at the movie theater. It's a must-see at the movies. But otherwise, I'll try to watch everything in my own time at home.
Yeah. And I'm a no, because last time they did this with a dog movie, A Dog's Purpose, they were like drowning the dog, if you remember.
German Shepherd.
Yeah. So I'm a no.
What?
That whole movie with Dennis Quaid, rather, not Randy Quaid.
They drowned the dog?
When
In
they
the
were
pool.
filming, they were trying to do a rescue sequence, and they were literally harming the dog trying to film this sequence. So
I didn't know
I'm
that.
just anti any of these movies in case something comes out. I'm just no.
Okay. So now on Blu-ray this week, Stephen King's Castle Rock season 1. If you don't
This
have
is the Hulu show,
yeah,
right?
it's on Blu-ray. So if you don't have Hulu, you can watch it there. I'm not a huge Stephen King fan, so I'm a no.
I thought you liked it.
I
on
liked
Hulu.
it. That's it.
Oh.
I'm like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, he's a one on that
No.
one. I'm a no, but I know Heather, my wife, who's a big Stephen King fan, was a big yes on those. So I think it depends on the audience.
Also this week on Blu-ray, the new Halloween that came out recently with Jamie Lee Curtis. I already saw it at the theater, so I'm a no. Gary?
I saw it at the theater too, and no.
And I'm a no. Horror movies are awful.
I mean, it was okay. I wouldn't sit through it twice. This one looks like it came directly from DVD because Tiffany Haddish stars in it. It's called The Oath. I don't know.
You don't even know what this. I didn't know what this was.
It looks like a direct-to-DVD movie with Tiffany Haddish that she made way before she became popular. It's also got the funny guy from Cock Blockers in it, not John Cena, but the other guy.
the other guy, yeah, the other dad.
And no, it looks terrible.
Don't know what you're talking about.
He's a
Good
what.
enough.
And I'm a what for Gary on that one too. I didn't know what it was. I really did.
This one came out a couple months ago, and it had a big hype behind it. Mid-'90s. Jonah Hill directed this. About a bunch of kids in
It's
the
a
90s.
West Coast
Yeah.
skateboard flick.
Flick. No, it doesn't look good to me.
No, it doesn't sound good to me.
And I'm a yes because I love Jonah Hill.
but he's
and I'm
not
intrigued. I don't care. I'm intrigued.
You look
by
like you
it.
could have been a skateboarder in another life.
Yeah, you know what I mean. 100 pounds ago. You know, it's
On the half pipe.
So for streaming this week, now HBO streaming, True Detective Season 3.
that's Mahershala Ali again.
Yes, that's
He's-
that guy.
yeah. That guy. that dude.
I don't like True Detective. I'm no.
Any of these shows that you're talking about that are on like that, if they're not on cable, I have no idea what you're talking about.
True
Oh,
Detective
okay.
was on HBO.
Yeah, I was gonna say it started as the Matthew McConaughey, Woody
They
Harrelson
changed the
movie.
actors every
I own a
season.
Or
moving
season,
company. I
right?
can't afford Pace TV stations.
Okay. Gary's got bills to pay. He's a no. And I'm a yes. Heather started kind of watching the True Detective. It's a pretty good show. It wasn't on my radar initially, so I'll check it out.
Series of unfortunate events. This is
Neil Patrick Harris' Lemony
Harris, based
Snicket.
on a kid's book. It's on Netflix. I haven't watched the first 2 seasons. I ain't watching the third
They're
one. No.
so bad.
You lost me at Doogie Howser.
He doesn't want to watch Neil Patrick.
Gary's
Harris.
out because no Doogie, and I'm a no. I've watched some of the first ones with Lorna, and they're awful.
Oh, they're terrible.
They are awful.
And the next one looks pretty good. It's an informer about a drug informant in the 90s. I don't know much else about it. He's helping
Who's in it, you know?
bust the cartel. No, I don't
Randy, the guy from last week's
Ah.
podcast, he was in it.
know. The Informer on Amazon. I say yes because I want to see that.
No.
Anything about drug cartels, I got to watch.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to be a what just because I don't know what it is.
So your drug cartels and R. Kelly. I've got you down. I've got you down to a.
I'm pretty
science
messed
here.
up. Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. I watched the first season. This is season 4, the final season.
You
Part 2.
watched the first season. You're saying?
Yeah, and the first season was terrible.
Yeah, that show was awful.
I'm not watching that. Gary, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
I'm the Patriots won today.
No Kimmy Schmidt for him.
and I'm a no on
Show
Kimmy
it.
Schmidt.
It was a girl from The Office, and
She's a country bumpkin who moves to New York, and she's an aw shucks girl.
And it's
And
not
then she
funny.
runs into a gay roommate who tries to like show her the world. It's awful. It's got the girl who eventually replaced Pam on The Office.
It's not good. It's not good. So we're gonna check in with college football. The bowl pool with all of us that picked ended in a tie. Me and Wiggs tied.
Yeah, because
Clemson whooped that hardy ass on
That's-
Alabama.
we're talking to you, BB.
What did you think, Gary? Did you watch the national championship game?
No,
Oh wow!
I'm not a college football guy.
No.
You are aware that Alabama got mud stomped, right?
Yes.
44 to 14.
Is that Nick Saban's team?
Yes.
They're
I
also
did
at
hear that.
28.
Yeah,
they got
they
smoked.
got destroyed. The game wasn't
Dabo,
good.
man, holy cow! He's all in with the poker chips, man. I'm telling you.
Dabo and being religious and dancing around.
Yeah.
So there's a little look at the college. Just want to give a recap. Wiggs and I tied, but we'll be coming back with the 3 minutes of wrestling next week.
Oh, we got it.
Wrestling is
returning?
back because the
Oh.
Royal Rumble's coming.
All right,
I know how much all you
folks.
guys
I'll
love
get
wrestling.
all my audio together. I didn't
Nobody
realize.
likes wrestling, but I mean,
Gary will definitely listen next week for his wrestling updates.
he loves
You know what? If it was back in the Sergeant Slaughter Iron Sheik days, I'm in.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it
Jimmy
won't be.
Superfly Snuka. I mean,
Mean Gene Okerlund?
Yep.
R.I.P.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's some college. Now, Charles is a big CES guy, and now
Yeah.
Gary doesn't like tech at all.
Gary doesn't know how to check his email.
So you're going to convince Gary to buy
Yeah.
some of these expensive items coming to
so
the thing.
every year in January, there's the Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas. This is where your Samsungs of the world, everything they bring out their products for the next year coming up. And I read a website called Engadget. It's a fantastic website to learn about all things tech. And I just wanted to bring up, in case you don't know, what kind of what's on the horizon for consumer electronics, and that's what I wanted to bring up today. So one of the biggest things is we just got 4K televisions. That's that higher resolution over to 1080p. Now we're moving to 8K televisions.
Man, I'm not buying that.
Dude, it's just getting out of hand.
What about the wall? I want that wall TV.
Well, there's all kinds of now. They're pushing the size as far as a lot of that stuff. You'll see some of those that are coming to the consumer levels and all that kind of stuff.
219-inch TV.
Yeah,
I measured the wall.
Yeah.
He's
So
like, if I take this off,
you can get a nice 4K projector and slam that on there, Gary. You're good to go.
I mean, is 8K going to be any different than 4K visually?
Well, you got to figure now. 8K is what 4 times the resolution. So
every 2 years I got to buy a new TV? I'm not doing
I don't
that.
know, man. Because my whole thing is with
You have
the
a 4K TV, Gary?
No.
You don't have a 4K TV,
But you have like a regular high-def TV, though?
Yeah.
You're not rocking a tube, right?
No, we have a 55-inch TV upstairs and in the basement.
Yeah, it's just in my whole thing is with these continued resolution bumps. There's no content. It's like, okay, so yeah,
I can't even get. My wife and daughter, they go to the non-high def stations just
my
because
God.
they know all the stations.
His wife does that.
Yeah, they know all the
time.
stations. I'm like, why wouldn't you want to watch it on high def? I don't understand.
I will not
I
allow
think
that
it
in my
must be a
house.
guy thing.
So every
will
time
not
I come
allow
home,
that,
I
man.
have to I know as soon as I turn on the TV that they are watching the TV because
I call that mud vision, Gary. It looks awful.
Nah, there is a difference between regular def and,
Oh
and
my
high def.
God, standard def is just not approved.
But if I hit the wrong button on the remote, I have to give it to my wife to figure out. Because
or you call Steve.
it's just messed up.
So another thing, aside from the 8K TVs, they're baking in Apple Play 2 or AirPlay 2 into TVs. What that means is from your iPhone, Gary. I know you got an iPhone in your pocket. I know you do. Everyone does. He looks at me like, no, John. I don't want you to. Yeah. So basically, they're baking those Apple TVs into the television sets. So like they started with the Rokus and all that kind of stuff. Now you can basically from your iPhone send it right to a TV set. That's pretty cool technology. I dig that. As we touched on earlier, Engadget's
How is Impossible Burger?
at CES,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
How is that technology?
nonetheless, this is it's Engadget's product of the show is the Impossible Burger 2.0. So
You should bring the Cricket chocolate chip cookies in.
You would have been
so.
the product of the show.
Yeah, so basically now they're going to start releasing the Impossible Burger as a ground product to grocery stores. They're going to carpet bomb the stuff everywhere. So that's the big push.
Because they got one good tasting fake burger. Now they're going to put it everywhere.
Everywhere, because they're going to try to get you to eat plant burgers.
Maybe next time I come back, we can have a whole meal. We can have like the Impossible Burger and Cricket cookie
And an eggnog. Yeah. The other thing that came out too, and I'm sure Steve kind of perks up on this one, Alienware Area 51M is an upgradable laptop, which is about time.
Yeah,
I mean,
but the base laptop's $3,000.
But it's baby steps, Steve. It's you know what I mean. Like this is consumer
pennies.
electronics.
Is that why my website promotion stuff went up?
I gotta get a new laptop.
Yeah. So now, as your laptop ages, you can pull components out, put new. That's an amazing step forward. Whereas Apple's going more proprietary, this stuff's going a little bit more. Everyone can use it. I showed Steve this. I want this at the house. This will be in the May Street studio. It's called a Teamy Robot. Basically, it's a PDA on a Roomba. So they're like a tablet, rather, on a Roomba. So this thing's going to be in the May Street studio, zooming around, looking to help everyone. It's going to be awesome. $1,500 for my Roomba robot coming in here, I'm telling you.
He's got the same reaction I had. Is he serious?
The other big thing, too, and I got a few more here. So Samsung revealed the first foldable cell
I saw
phone.
this today on Facebook. It was on there.
The Galaxy S10.
You can take your phone and just fold it in half.
Yeah, fold it over and then fold
Which
it
is good if
open.
you have it
Yeah,
in
we
your
used to
pocket.
have them in the 80s. They're called flip phones.
Well, no. This is like your phone now, but bend it in half.
Right,
You know what
flip
I mean?
phone.
So, the other big thing, too, Key by Amazon. So now the dirtbag Amazon delivers I have the crazy Schleg locks that are qualified for this. Amazon can open your front door and place your packages in your house.
Yeah.
So if you got dirtbags stealing your packages, Gary, you don't have to worry about
What's going
that.
to stop the Amazon driver from stealing shit in your
I
house?
would
They're
do
licensed, bonded, and insured. What are you talking about? If they steal, you can file a claim.
Oh, yeah. And then your dog attacks them as they open the front door, right?
That's true, too.
Yeah, Gary's got big
Magoo's
dogs.
not a very good. Yeah, Gary's dogs are probably going to go at him. And then the last but not least, HTC Vive Pro. Now this is a Pro Eye, so this is the new big step forward in VR stuff. Now within the helmet, they're able to track where you're looking at in the space. It's called gaze tracking. So what that does is that allows the programmer to know whereabouts in there you're looking to basically push the horsepower.
I forget it. I thought you said gay tracking. Like you're going to be able to tell where there's people that are gay. Oh, my.
It's a leap forward, Gary.
It's those cricket cookies. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
Sorry.
So now they can push the horsepower to where the gaze is looking.
What is he?
Yeah, with a Z, not the gay people, Gary. What's going on? So that's a 2019 wrap up. Gary's gonna get half of this stuff because he's way into
Where do you
it.
get the gay track?
He's gonna get his gay tracker and walk around the streets.
Yeah, that's funny.
So
Yeah,
anyway,
I saw the foldable phones. The 8K is a waste of money. The robot's a waste of money.
you will eat Impossible Burger 2 on the podcast.
Yeah, I'll eat the burger. The burger's all right. I don't still see how the burger is tech.
Do
But
they make it at a double?
Yeah, you eat a double burger.
Ooh, a double impossible burger. The problem is they raised the price, isn't it?
The upgradable laptop, I think you're into. It's baby steps. Is the first iteration of an upgradable
Yeah, it's just
laptop.
ridiculously overpriced. So there you go. Some looks at
CES 2019.
One of these years we'll have to get to go to one of these conferences
Yeah.
and stuff. Now let's talk back to the National Football League and all the turd sandwich games of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Not one has been decent. The one currently looks pretty good. What's the score?
14-10.
Ooh,
14-10
Eagles with the
Phil.
lead.
Nick
Mike
Foles,
Valenti's
man.
head's going to explode if the Eagles win, by the way.
But I think they had
Who?
14 before we started.
Whose head's gonna
I
explode?
think they had 14 when the podcast
Yeah,
started.
yeah. I think New Orleans.
The
is-
guy, the 97-1, Mike Valenti.
Oh, he
he
railed
hates
against
the
Foles.
Eagles. Oh, yeah.
He railed
Here
against
they are
them.
winning again. So
That's all he does is win, Steve.
Well, the first game yesterday was the Colts in Kansas City, and Kansas City pretty much smashed them.
Yeah.
Colts forgot how to run the ball or do anything. They became
Yeah,
retarded.
the offense was really putrid.
Andy Reid got that monkey off his back and actually won a playoff game. Even though it was 13-24 at one point, you're thinking, oh, maybe. And then the Colts just they screwed up.
But you know what? Shout out to Andrew Luck coming back after his injury. I mean,
Yeah, he had a great
Geppetto
season.
put him back together, and Steve coined on the podcast.
he had a good year.
Yeah, he got put back together.
I thought the Colts looked really good towards the end of the year. I think that Kansas City's just a buzzsaw.
Colts should have ran the ball. The only team that ran the ball this weekend was the Rams and the Patriots, of all people.
And the Rams were weird. The Rams were kind of running back by committee thing.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
know that
Yeah, me either.
until watching
the
that
short
game.
little squatty guy.
Yeah, I
So
didn't.
that leads us into our next game, which was Dallas and the Rams. Rams won 30-22. The game wasn't as close as the score made out. Dallas scored a late touchdown to make it look a little better.
There was some garbage time at the end.
Rams ran the ball down Dallas's throat, and Dallas didn't run at all. You got Ezekiel Elliott, Captain Ohio State, whatever that is. they didn't run him. He was
Feed
a
the
shotgun.
studs, Steve.
Yeah, so I just thought the game plan on Dallas's part was just retarded. Their defense held up as long as it could. It's the Rams' offense. You're only going to hold them so long. Did you get to see that game, Gary?
No, I was at an event last night, so I.
At the City of Westland Chamber of Commerce.
No, I was at the Senate post-holiday party.
Oh, wow.
What is that?
That's another show, Steve.
Senate.
Senate Coney Island. That's what he's talking about.
Totally lost on that
The
one.
JCI Senate.
Oh, okay. Man, you're so
He's a busy guy.
He
man.
is. But the one you did get to see was the one today, the Patriots. and
They
the Chargers.
stomped them
My
Chargers.
first question for you guys. You think the NFL kind of stuck it to the Chargers
Yeah.
by making them do
What
a
time would have been
one,
kickoff in L.A. at that point? Like
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
So
man.
it's a 1 a.m. game.
1 p.m.,
1
yeah.
p.m., sorry. they should have been the late game, right? Or
being West Coast,
being a West Coast team. Yeah, they kind of screwed them a little bit.
Yeah.
Give them that little Patriots edge there. It didn't matter because the
Are
Patriots.
you claiming like foul here? You
Yeah,
saying the league stacking the deck?
there.
Oh, man.
But I don't care because I don't like Phillip Rivers. I was glad to see
Yeah,
what
he looked
happened.
rough, man. They were thumping him. He
Yeah.
looked beat up by the end of that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a couple. There was a roughing the passer there early on that I
Yeah.
thought they should have got, and they didn't.
When they blew the whistle,
yeah, it
and
was
he
a delay
blew-
a game. It was
yeah.
a delay a game or whatever, and Phillip Rivers
Still
still
got
got
thumped,
leveled,
yeah.
and they didn't call.
He
it,
went
so.
off on that ref after that too.
And I don't think it would have made a difference in the game. One of my friends, one of my workers, lived in Boston, so I
okay.
get the grief from them all the time because I'm not a Patriots fan at all.
He must be annoying, whoever that. Like nothing worse than a gloating Patriots fan.
Yeah. So now Phillip Rivers plenty of time to have his 9th kid now.
Dude, I know.
He has 8 kids.
Right?
His wife's pregnant with the 9th, right?
Jeez.
That's a lot of babies. One thing he's good at, not winning playoff games, but making babies. That guy's an
At
expert.
least he made the playoffs.
Yeah, that is true.
true.
Under like some lions.
So, what's everything shaping up? So basically,
You got
the Patriots
Patriots
got to
and
go
the
to
Chiefs.
KC.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's an interesting game.
That's a really interesting game. Actually.
And the first time they played this year was a huge shootout. I think.
the Patriots won the last second field goal.
Yeah, and I
wanna
think
say.
that's the one where Mahomes scored 5,000 points on Gary's team.
You want to talk about that, Gary?
Yeah.
Who do you got? Who do you like in that game, Gary? Between the Patriots and the Chiefs in Kansas City.
You're going to make me say it, aren't you? The Patriots. You
Oh,
can't go against them. I mean, they get a bunch of people other than Brady that are no names, and they make it work all the time. It doesn't matter who it is. You can't count them out.
Give me Andy Reid and that mustache, baby. I've fucked them. I mean, I can't stand the Patriots.
I know that
Can't
giant wall.
I don't like
Stand
them
the
either,
Patriots.
but we got to
Nope.
think
Won't say it.
who's going to win.
Yep. Nope.
I mean, it's a 50-50 game. So if this holds
It's
true,
in Kansas City, which is a tough place to play.
Doesn't
But the
matter.
problem is that late season collapse that Steve's been calling for a while.
yeah, I know.
But Andy Reid plays Bill Belichick. So they talked about it if you watch the Patriots game, that Andy Reid can figure some stuff out against Belichick. So I'm hoping that he pulls it off. I really am. I need someone different in the Super Bowl, man. I do.
No, I
like you
agree. It's the
wouldn't
same way.
believe.
I'm from New York originally, and it's the same reason people didn't like the Yankees. Same reason the people didn't like the Red Wings in the late '90s. I mean, Jimmy Johnson for NASCAR. Same reason people didn't like him. I mean, and the Patriots are that way too. Unless they're your team, you're tired of seeing them.
Dude,
You
just
want to
over
see
it.
somebody new. So.
Go Chiefs, baby.
But I can't. You can't bet against him year after year, no matter what. He just keeps coming
I
back.
can and will.
They don't make
Chiefs.
mistakes.
I will say, watching that Chiefs game, they were doing some weird ass motions with that Hill guy. They run him all over the place.
Tyreek Hill,
yeah,
very
he comes
good.
back around. So they do unique stuff. Let's see if it helps them. Probably not.
Go
Goddamn
Chiefs,
Patriots gonna
baby.
win. Everyone knows it. No one wants them to,
do
but
you
they're
want to
gonna
watch,
win.
like, in all seriousness, do you two want to watch a Patriots, like, Saints Super Bowl?
Yeah, cheer for the Saints.
It depends if there's a new Geico
I am so not
commercial.
into that game at all. I don't know.
I watch for the commercials.
Yeah.
I'd like to see. Well, it looks like the Eagles might beat the Saints. So,
No.
if it's Eagles and Rams,
Saints are going to win.
are the Rams going to beat either one of these teams?
I think that it's not the Rams' year, is what I would say that the Rams are set up for success over a few years. I think that, like, old school, like, been there, done that's going to come back to haunt them this year, is what I
you
think
think
is
so?
going to
They
happen.
might
Eagles should have
lose.
lost last week.
I think it's going to
the
be
doink.
at least
That
these two
poor Bears
teams
kicker.
that could possibly play them have some experience, and I think that's going to play to their favor, is my 2 cents. But as long as Tom Brady's not there.
So there's some looks at some previews of the games and our thoughts. Everyone thinks the Patriots might sneak their asses back in there.
God.
Couple quick news points this week. Margot Robbie. Are you familiar with her work, Gary? Hey, Margot Robbie?
Name's familiar, but no.
I,
Wolf
Tanya.
of Wall Street.
I, Tanya is a great movie.
Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad. Gorgeous blonde woman. She's going to be
Mary Queen of Scots.
Yeah, she's going to be the new Barbie. They're
I
going to
don't-
make a Barbie movie.
And I saw you put this in the notes. Like, what is there a premise to it?
It's a live act. Right now, all we know is this is a live action Barbie movie.
Is it going to
They've
be
made
like wink,
G.I.
wink,
Joe.
nod? Is she going to be like a mannequin, like an 80s mannequin movie, like
There's
brought
no
to life?
details yet.
Oh, it's going to be like R. Kelly meets Barbie.
Okay, Steve's
That's
in.
a very dark. That's a very
Surviving
dark-
Barbie.
Surviving Barbie. So there you go, Margot Robbie. For all you fans of Margot Robbie,
I think
she
it
might
could be good if
starring
it-
with R. Kelly.
If they remade, like I said, like the '80s mannequin movie in like Barbie,
there's no
I'm definitely
details
in
on
that.
it.
Remember Hollywood and all that
I
stuff?
don't think
That's a good
you
movie.
know how they made G.I. Joe. It had nothing to do with the toy. It was just like kind of like a military.
Yeah.
I think that's the same difference. They're just going to make Barbie.
Oh man!
They're
But
gonna
you bring
cast
out like
someone
what's
as
it, Andrew
Ken.
McCarthy's in the original mannequin and stuff like that.
You couldn't get off of mannequin. It's not going to be mannequin.
Next thing we're going to talk about Rear View Window.
And then this other one I was familiar because my daughter plays it all the time.
And so does mine.
The Baby Shark is now in the top
Oh
20.
my God!
Baby Shark, 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 shark.
If my wife is listening right now, she's cracking up. This was a big talk last night. For 40 minutes yesterday, I was exercising to this song. Oh, yeah. I got the whole thing down. You got the baby shark, and you got the the mama shark, and the grandpa shark.
Why do you know the whole dance of the
Yeah.
shark
I'm
family?
serious. I heard it on the TV the other day, and I thought it was hilarious. And then I mess around with my dogs once in a while. So I put it on when my wife was in bed, and I cranked up the TV in the living room, trying to get her out of bed to see what I was doing. And she finally came out like 30 minutes into it, and I was about dead on the floor from doing this dance about 30 minutes. But I had to laugh when you brought that up. She's at home cracking up right now because this is true.
So they made
Yes.
it a top 40. It hit the Billboard charts.
It's the dumbest thing. Was it? It must have been on a kid show or something.
I'm sure Holly is at home yelling
You don't have
at
it
Facebook.
queued up? Come on.
No. Well, actually, they yell at you if you play.
Yeah. So Gary, let me ask the question real quick. So you stream a lot at home. How do you stream? You're not the most tech savvy guy, as you openly admitted. How do you stream? Like if you're watching, is it your phone, or how do you do it at the house? How do you bring stuff up on your TV? I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I don't want to say.
Yeah. What do you got? Like a bootleg box? What do you got? Like a
Fire Stick.
You got a jailbroke Fire Stick?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a
That
common
we just
thing.
on the Black was it not Black? Maybe it was Black Friday. They had Hulu for 99 cents a
Steve
month for a
kicked that
year.
to
So
me, yeah.
so we got that, and that's where I watched the Aftermath movie with Arnold
Okay.
Schwarzenegger was on that. And we started doing the Hulu thing. So
So you do Hulu on the Fire Stick? Is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
so? Your Fire Stick is your main device you're using.
If
Right.
you watch The Handmaiden's Tale on there on Hulu,
the who?
Handmaiden's Tale.
Handmaid's Tale.
like-
It's,
it's
the
the
big
biggest-
It was
Hulu
R.
show.
Kelly too.
No.
It's the one that won all the awards, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Women love it. It's a huge. I would just. What do you watch on Hulu besides Schwarzenegger?
We are actually in the third season of NYPD Blue because my wife has never seen it. She's never
Does
seen
that
it.
hold up? What
And
does that look
it's
like?
my
anyway?
favorite show ever, NYPD Blue.
Is it
So-
old school 4x3 square, or is it is it widescreen?
Does it got the lines going
Yeah.
through?
No, it's nice, man. It's she's into it, so it's like I had to decide. I'm like, I could just call him and tell him I got a flat tire and not show up for the podcast. We can watch like 10 episodes, She's like, no, you got to go. I'm like, okay.
NYPD Blue.
Is it? Wasn't Ricky Schroeder at one point in NYPD?
It is,
Blue?
yeah.
Oh man.
Him and the guy from Saved by the Bell, Mark Gosselaar.
Yeah, he's got that new show coming out on Monday. The Passage is coming
Yeah,
out.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen the previews.
What do you think of that? It's got like
It
a plague or something, and then there's a girl who can solve it, and he's trying to get her out or something.
It looks good, but I think we're maxed out on our DVR shows because
Okay.
we go to bed at 9 every night. So
I'm not.
and we
elite
tape
on
all the Chicago ones. We're big fans of
Chicago Fire, Chicago.
Oh, okay, the
Chicago
NBC stuff. Is
Med.
that NBC stuff?
Yeah. So we're fans of all that. So we watch that every week. So that's our main show.
Wow. Heather went down a whole rabbit hole. She was watching all the old ER stuff on Hulu, like he's watching NYPD Blue. So
It's all terrible.
Wow.
ER's a good
Oh,
show.
Yeah, that's all terrible. Well, let's go watch R. Kelly.
That was a one-time thing.
I don't know, it
I'm
sounds like you
interested in
watched
R.
it-
Kelly.
it
There's
sounds
nothing
like you
wrong with
watched
a little
couple-
bump and grind.
It sounds like you watched a couple episodes of it.
6.
Yeah, see?
I kind of want to watch it. I'll be honest.
So we're gonna end up this week. We want an update, Charles, on the sauna. How's it going for the
So
first week?
you've been doing it every other day at least, doing that for a half hour, still pouring sweat like crazy. Somehow my wife doesn't sweat. I don't know what's. She's still broken. I don't know
Did
what's
you
going-
catch that on the podcast last week, Gary? He's got a whole in-home sauna in his basement.
Yeah.
I did not.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
seen the picture. I've seen the picture of it though.
Yeah, so and it's great. You get in there, you get you get the sweat going, and then you take a shower. It feels nice.
Now,
It's
do
really
you
good.
Feel healthier from doing this all week.
I mean, I got back in the gym this week a little better than so I went 4 days this week and stuff like that. Like, so I'm trying to make 2019 the year where, like I told you, I get off those meds, and I'm pretty happy with it. So
Keep
yeah.
eating those crickets. You'll never know what might
Yeah.
happen.
Now, in the future, a couple weeks, Gary, we're going to do cryogenic freezing, where you sit in this
Cryotherapy.
What do you think? Would you do that? 150 negative
3
150.
minutes. Yeah, you're gonna go in this up to your neck. You're gonna go into this.
I know what it is.
Yeah. So you're into it, or you just know what it is?
No, I know what it is, but I don't think I would it'd be
Yeah.
for me.
Oh
Yeah,
man. Yeah.
no.
We're gonna try it out.
It just puts a lot of stress on your body and stuff, and I have a mechanical heart valve, and I don't know how that would all go over well. So
How did we miss the mechanical? Why do you have a mechanical heart valve?
Because my regular heart valve didn't work properly.
Well, yeah. But, so that's just how. I guess the question is,
It doesn't seal. So when it doesn't seal, the heart can't pump the blood through the body.
Wow.
So they had to take it out and put in a mechanical one. So they put the mechanical one in so I could operate.
Is that some? Don't they do like pig valves and stuff like that?
If you're older, because the mechanical valve is you're more likely to reject. But I got this back in 2002.
Wow.
So the pig valve only lasts about 15 years. So they were hoping that I was going to live longer than 15 years. So they put in But if I was older, if I was 65, 75 years old, they probably would have put the pig valve in me because it's less likely to reject it.
So then my question to you is, what symptoms brought you, or what shined the light that this is an issue with you? Is this something you dealt with for a while?
Same
or?
thing as being fat.
Yeah, I know the
Well, no,
feeling. Yeah.
No, just run down, out of breath all the time. And I went into the doctor and I was telling him this, and the doctor just was really negative towards me, telling me that I needed to lose weight and I needed to do this.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
you,
no, I've been overweight for quite a while. I know there's another issue there.
Wow.
So I ended up having to switch doctors, and switching doctors, they diagnosed it probably within a month. And they said if I would have went 6 more months that I probably would have died.
Wow.
So, it's always go by what you think. If you think something's wrong with your body, you know best. So make sure you do a follow-up and get a second opinion on stuff, because I'm so glad that I did.
Yeah. And so do you have to do consideration? Is it one of those things where like you can't stress the heart or anything like that? Is that always in the back of your mind, or?
No, not really. I mean,
No?
that could be a good excuse for not exercising, but it's not really the
They're like,
excuse.
no, get your ass out there, Gary. Like, okay, but I got a heart thing.
my main thing was that I have to take blood thinners all the time.
Because you don't want nothing getting caught in the valve or something?
Yeah, so it's the cold really bothers me now where it never used to, because my blood is so thin when I go out in the cold. It's just like I'm constantly cold all the time.
Man. I worked with a guy on blood thinners, and if he got a cut, he bled like a pig. Are you that way too?
I'm
The
10
smallest
milligrams a day, which is really high for blood thinners. So
So you're just greasy as can be. His blood just whizzing around.
yeah, I
his
have
body.
to go. I have to go at least once a month to get my blood tested, and if I got to be between 2.5 and 3.5, and if I'm off, depending on how far I'm off, I either got to go weekly or 2 weeks until I get 3 good ones in a row. And I've been doing this.
Is
now
that a
for-
viscosity thing when you say 2.5? Or is that like the medication in your blood?
That's what the thickness of the blood is.
Wow.
Is between 2.5 and 3.5 is where I've got to be in my level. So it's just. It is what it is. I've been doing it for like 15 years.
Is
now
that a
or something,
hereditary
so.
thing, do you think?
Yep,
or is that
it
something?
is.
Yeah, it's just
It
one of those
is.
things you were born with, huh?
Yeah, because all the males in my family died of heart attacks early in life.
Okay.
So they probably had the same problem I did. They just couldn't diagnose it back then.
And you were at least diligent enough to be like, no, something's wrong,
Yeah.
man. Something's wrong. That's cool. Well,
So that's going to wrap us up for this
Whoa,
week.
hold on. I got one thing
Oh,
first.
whoa.
I mentioned it to you, and you didn't bring it up, and I've got to bring it up.
Oh, feel free.
Jurassic Park Alive. I'm a 50-year-old guy that's in love with the game. It's like the Pokemon thing, but you catch dinosaurs. I'm serious.
so it's
mentioned it to
Pokemon
me-
Go where you're picking up
Oh, yeah,
velociraptors.
I'm dead serious.
I thought he mentioned it, and I was like, well, he really likes Jurassic Park. I didn't know.
Oh no, it's
So this is so you're talking about it's a mobile game rather.
Ah, yeah.
And so it populates the world.
It does. It's loading.
So it's going to tell you there might be a velociraptor at the end of my street.
It will.
And you got he's waiting.
I am dead serious.
So you got to get like so is there certain ones that are specials that only come up ever so often? Is it very Pokemon that
Dude,
way?
it is crazy. No, it's like you could take DNA from 2 different dinosaurs and make another one, and I'm serious, you guys. It is.
Have you found a T-Rex?
And now there's alliances that you can have. Like I'm an alliance with other people around the world. There can be up to 50 people in your alliance, and you can, if you need a certain dinosaur, you can request it, and they can donate DNA.
Do they like
to
crate
you.
it up and digitally send it over to you?
I'm telling you, this thing. I never thought that this would take off, that I would like it. I am obsessed with it.
Wow.
Do you have to like go to like certain parks or something?
He's going to be the guy in the cemetery capturing a velociraptor.
They do that. And my wife is, as soon as she gets in the car, she'll grab my phone because I'm driving, and she'll do it as we're driving along or whatever.
That's great. How does one, I guess, in the game, so you come upon a velociraptor at the end of my block, how do you acquire the velociraptor? Is there do you fight it? Do you
launch a drone?
You drone capture the...
Yes, you see the dinosaur, you click on him, and then you launch a drone, and the drone goes over, and the drone will launch it, and then you have a target, and you have to chase the dinosaur and shoot the target to see how much DNA you get.
Is there a dinosaur around here?
So what's the end game?
And then you have, this is an incubator that I'm opening up now, and...
He is way into this. What's the end game? Are you going to open your own Jurassic Park? Is that the
you get different
upgrades?
Different dinosaurs in your
He's way into
whatever.
Is there one around here?
Yeah, there is one right there.
He's gonna. Now I know what he's gonna do.
And then
See you later, Gary's gonna walk down my street.
And then you launch the drone. And
okay.
The drone launches.
It's a poor man's DJI drone. I see that.
Sorry.
No, but that's what they knocked that off too, just like they knocked off Pokemon.
And then once you get it, then you chase him around and you follow the target.
So you have to, with your finger, track the
just,
dinosaur.
You track him, and he starts to run, and you got to try to catch him.
And you're acquiring DNA from the dinosaur, is what you're saying? But what's Gary? What's the end game? I don't understand. Do you battle Steve's dinosaurs?
What's the end game of watching R. Kelly? I don't know.
So
yes, there is.
So what?
There is battles.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So you get a stable of DNA to a bunch of dinosaurs. What do we do with it?
You have your top 8 in your lineup, and then you can battle people.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So you're gonna go head to head against
that one.
Steve's.
Got 18. I got 18 DNA from it, and I have 11,531 out of 15,000. I can level them up to the next level.
And then, so in theory, your dinosaur is going to take on Steve's dinosaur. Is that what we're?
Yeah, there's you have a group that you can do to battle, and those are my top 8 on the top.
He's got a whole army,
dude. He's way into it.
Those are the top 8 that you have, and so it'll randomly take 4 of my 8 when I go to battle somebody, and I'll be able to battle them.
Do you control the battle against Steve's horde?
Yes.
Okay, so you're actually implementing
right, and each dinosaurs have different things. Some of them have shields, some of them have quick charges and different things like that. The faster dinosaur gets the first move, so you have to know, if you bring out a raptor, that I might bring out something else to defend the raptor. And
so let me ask a question. Have you paid any money towards this game?
Do not ask that question. And they have different. And the stops are just like the Poke stops.
Yeah, okay.
And they
ripped out Pokemon big time.
They put out treasure chests, where you can get coins and stuff.
How many dinosaurs have you found around your warehouse?
A lot. And this is my alliance. This is people asking for different DNA to make.
So that you might have that, so you can ship it off to someone
right. If
else.
I have a dinosaur that I'm not really looking to level up, but somebody else is, then I can donate DNA to them.
Wow. He's all about it.
Sorry, I just extended your show.
That's fine.
That's fine.
If you got something you're into, that's the whole point of the podcast.
You have different incubators too that go on 8 and 3 hour time frame. Like this one's up, So if I click on it,
You can harvest from it or
I'll
something.
be honest,
like
when
that?
you messaged me Jurassic Park Alive, I had no idea what you're talking about. Well, he really likes Jurassic Park. I don't know.
oh no, it's like I said, you get your incubators and you level them up, and then you get coins and darts.
Those are spent on like upgrades, I'm assuming, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
How many months have you been playing this?
At least 6.
He's got a lot of hours into this Jurassic Park Alive.
Got nothing on my wife though. My wife's got that Magic Kingdom. She's been playing it for 3 years.
And then they have daily challenges that you do, and you'd finish the daily challenges, like hit so many supply stops, do so many battles, open up so many incubators. My wife's going right now, oh, you're killing yourself.
Wow.
But, at 50 years old, this is what I do.
Join the club. I got an Xbox.
I mean, people were way into Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go was
and
huge.
that looks like it completely. It sounds a lot like they stole Pokemon Go, and then they also stole the Marvel game for the head-to-head stuff.
Yeah.
Well, and another, if you're into it and I'm not, is they have a Walking Dead version that's like
Same
this
thing,
too.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
same
Pokemon.
exact thing.
Where you
but
collect zombies?
yeah, I guess.
Create a horde or something like that.
Yeah. What's the most? Have you found a T-Rex?
Oh yeah.
Is that the most powerful, or is there something else?
No, there's all kinds of weird hybrid legendary
Oh, okay.
dinosaurs that you can get. All my guys play, and I know nothing about it. They all play that PUBG game or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's run around and just kill each. Basically, 100 people on a stage. The last one left wins.
Yeah, that's the battle royale.
See, that's too violent for me. I'd rather shoot dinosaurs.
Oh,
Okay. Dinosaurs just eat people. But
keep it PG.
But I had to bring it up because
Oh,
it's my new thing the last 6
Hey.
months. It's my obsession. So
It's the whole point of the podcast.
So Jurassic Park Alive. Is
Yep.
it? It's I obviously for Android and probably Apple iPhone. So there you go. You can collect dinosaurs, start your whole army. You can walk around the park looking for random ones. I'd like to thank Gary for being on the podcast. For being a good sport. Of course, go to www.michiganmovers.com. You can reserve.
Men on the Move is not Michigan.
You couldn't get Men on the Move.
Oh
There's
my God!
that
This
was
is your web guy, and he couldn't get you the URL you
no,
wanted.
there's a company in New Jersey and New York called Men on the Move.
New York.
And they were around before him. So you can't just steal
it,
their. You
Gary.
can't just steal.
You could have offered him a boatload of dinosaur eggs.
yeah, can you learn? Can I learn how to hack into the game so I get all the stuff for free? Yeah.
So MichiganMovers.com, and of course for the fat guys, littlepodcast.com. You can catch us on Apple iTunes, Google Play, Facebook, Google
Alexas,
Home, Alexa.
yeah.
We're all over the place. Nobody's listening. So until next week, enjoy your cricket flower, and then catch you next time.